Okay, today we will be studying Hilchot Ishut, 16th chapter. This chapter deals with the different property that belongs to the woman and the money of the ketubah, how it moves from the husband to the wife after divorce or death of the husband, and some other halachot, all connected to the payment of the ketubah and the ketubah itself. הלכה א', הנכסים שמכנסת האישה לבעלها, בין קרקע בין עבדים בין מטלטלין, אף על פי שנכתבים בשטר כתובה, אינן נקראים כתובה אלא נדוניה שמם. All the property which the woman gives to the husband after they get married, okay, by virtue of her being the isha of that man, by virtue of her being married to that individual, okay, these are not called ketubah, they're called nedunya. In the ketubah is basically a contract. And within that contract, there are responsibilities of the husband towards the wife, amounts of money that he will have to pay her if he divorces her. And also, in addition to that, there are the properties of the woman that she entered the marriage with. These properties are called nedunya, and these properties are divided into two types. ואם קיבל הבעל אחריות הנדוניה עליו ונעשת ברשותו, אם פחתה פחתה לו, ואם הותירה לו, הרי זו נקראת נכסי אסון ברזל. Now, if the husband takes full responsibility over these properties, then the properties belong to him during the time in which he is married to the woman, and whatever money they make, the money goes to the husband, and whatever value they lose, the value is lost by the husband. And when he gives, if he divorces her, when he gives her back the property, he has to give her the property at the value it was at the time of the marriage. Now, this is the second type of nedunya. Nedunya which the husband does not take responsibility over. If the husband does not take responsibility over the nedunya, and so in this case, the money, the value change of the nedunya is the wife loses whatever value is lost or gains whatever value is gained, and this is what we call nichse melog. So there's nichse son barzel, responsibility of the husband. Nichse melog is under the responsibility of the wife, and it is stays under her power. And any properties which the wife did not write on the ketubah when they got married. Anything that stayed hers, or that it came to her some sort of inheritance after she got married, or that she got it as a present, all these are called nichse melog because the husband does not have responsibility over them, even if they're not written in the ketubah. Although the classic nichse melog are nichse melog that are under the nedunya, and in other words, that are under the ketubah, that are written inside the ketubah. And what we call ketubah in general, when in general we say ketubah, the husband has to pay ketubah. We're talking about the minimum amount that was designated by Chachamim, plus the addition that the husband said he would give by himself of money if upon divorce. הלכה ג' כבר הודענו שחכמים תקנו כתובה לאישה ודין התוספת כדין העקר. We already in פרק יוד we spoke about the fact that Chachamim prescribed that the wife must have a ketubah when getting married. ודין התוספת כדין העקר, and that whatever added money is said, whatever added money the husband gives in addition to the minimum, yes, he would have to give if he divorced the wife, is called also ikar ketubah, is nevertheless part of the ketubah itself. Now, interesting point here. According to Harambam, the ketubah is not a scriptural law, but rather a law designated by the sages. And also, the ketubah cannot be taken by the wife whenever she wants to. If she decides to divorce, yalla, she gets the ketubah. But rather, this is something that has a specific time. We call it davar sheyesh lo zeman, a payment which has a time by the payer to the person that needs to be paid to according to this contract, and the time being the time of divorce and after. And the ketubah is only given, the money of the ketubah is only given to the wife after the husband died or after he divorced the wife. The continuation of halacha gimel 2 in the Makbili edition. Now, there are three types of sadot in Jewish law. There is idit, binonit, Idit and Ziburit. Idit is the nicest type of sadeh. Benonit is a middle in how good it is and how much the produce of that field is worth. And Ziburit is the worst type. Now, Ma'akaradin, from scriptural law, when somebody owes somebody else money, that somebody else could take the money from the sadeh and only from the ziburit, from the least good sadeh. Hachamim made a special decree that when an individual owes somebody else money and that somebody else is taking the money from a sadeh, he takes it from the medium sadeh, from what we call benonit. Why? So that people don't mind lending money to each other. However, in the case of a wife versus a husband, we leave it as the sages left it at scriptural law. How come? To not so that husbands do not have incentive to marry women. In other words, to not take away incentive of marrying women. Oh, if I have to pay enough for the best sadeh, from the middle sadeh, I don't want to, now when I get a divorce, I'm going to pay from my middle sadeh, it's not going to be good, the average sadeh. So that we say we leave it at ziburit. Also, marriage is not something we need to encourage because it's something people do nevertheless. It's not something that Hachamim have a special incentive to encourage because it's something people will do without special incentive. הלכה ד' וכן התקינו שכשתבוא לכבות אחר מותו לא תרבה עד שתשבע בנקיטת חפץ שלא הניח אצלה כלום ושלא מכירה לא כתובתה ולא מחלה אותה ושאמין לה כל שעליה ופוחתין אותה מכתובתה. Also, Hachamim decreed that when the woman comes to get her ketubah, if it's after the death of the husband or if the husband divorced her, she goes to the bedin to receive the money of her ketubah. Actually, in this case, it's only after the death of the husband. So after the death of the husband, the woman would go to the bedin to receive the money that the husband owes her, that the husband is responsible to give her in the based on what is written in the ketubah. She takes it only after swearing in a swear called nikitat hafiz. What is nikitat hafiz? When you swear with the Sefer Torah or tefillin in certain cases. In this case, it's a Sefer Torah. What does she have to swear? That the husband did not leave her anything, any extra money. So that would be subtracted from the original money of the ketubah. So for example, if the ketubah was worth 200 and the husband left her 50, then she would only receive 150 for the ketubah because she already received 50 from the husband previously. Also that she did not sell the ketubah to somebody else, sell the responsibility of the ketubah to somebody else, which the husband would have to pay that somebody else instead of the wife. Or also that she did not give up the ketubah, tell the husband, I give up my ketubah, and now she wants to go receive the ketubah. She has to swear that she did not give up the ketubah so that she doesn't steal money that is not hers. And the bedin also sees how much money is on the wife, how much money she received from the husband. And we take that away from the ketubah, we subtract that from the amount of money of the ketubah. So for example, if the woman had property that she received from the husband worth 50 and the ketubah was 200, so we subtract 50 from the 200, and now the bedin is only responsible to give the woman 150. אבל אם גרשה לרצונו, גובה ולא שבועה ואין שמין כסות עליה, שהרי לקחן לה, וזכת בהן, והוא רוצה להוסייה ולא היא... However, if the husband divorced the woman, okay, in a case which the husband did not die, but rather the woman was divorced, in this case, she does not need to make a shebu'ah because it is the husband, that decided to divorce her, and also the clothing that are on the woman or whatever property she received from the husband after divorce, we do not consider this, we do not subtract this from the original amount of money in the ketubah because the husband is he who decided to divorce the woman, and it is not a non-clear amount of money that she received. She received this from her husband, and the husband knew that when he's divorcing her, he's going to have to pay the full money of the ketubah. And this is a little different than the case when the husband died, because when the husband died, we know that maybe he had a certain kavanah, incentive to by paying her to subtract that from the ketubah. Here we know for a fact that he did not have that incentive by divorcing her, and therefore he has to give her the full amount of the ketubah, and we do not subtract based on the amount of things that the wife received from the husband, as well as the fact that she does not need to make a shibu'ah. הלכה ה' וכן התקינו, also the חכמים decreed, שלא תרבה האלמנה כתובתם אלא מן הקרקע, ואינה גובה משבח ששבחו נכסים לאחר מיתת הבעל. Also it was decreed that a widow she only takes her ketubah from real estate. Okay, she only receives the money of her ketubah from real estate, and she does not take the amount of money the real estate, the value that the real estate went up on after the death of the husband. So for example, let's say the wife had to receive, at the time of the death of the husband, the amount of real estate that the wife was supposed to receive was 1 acre of land. And there was a 1 acre that was designated for the woman to take as a ketubah from her husband that passed away. And now that 1 acre went up in value, okay? And now really she should be taking, if it was at the time of the death, she would have been taking half an acre. So we don't give her 1 acre with that went up in value, but we take down, we give her half an acre based on the value written in the ketubah. So if the value written in the ketubah was $100, and at the time of the death of the husband, 1 acre was worth $100, and she didn't take it, and until she took it, 1 acre was worth $200. Now we're going to give her half an acre because she only needs $100 from the ketubah. This is a decree of the sages. Also, there's a special decree by the sages in general that the husband, if he takes responsibility on paying for the foods of the girls of his wife, then this payment does not. Also, we don't calculate the value up in land and down in land when paying them, but rather we pay them the exact amount of money at the time of payment. And so usually when somebody owes somebody else money, and at the time he wanted to take the money, we have Shimon and Levi. I'm going to give an example. Shimon lent $100 from the Levi, and now he needs to pay back Levi $100. So Levi, after a certain amount of time, based on whatever contract was made, Levi may take the $100 from Shimon's real estate. Now, if the time came for Shimon to pay, his real estate was worth, let's say, part of his real estate was worth $100, and then that same part of real estate went up in value to $110 after a shorter while, Levi may take whatever added value was put in the real estate, because at the time at the time he was supposed to receive his money back, that amount of real estate was worth $100, and he gets the profit from the property. However, with the wife, the case is not such, and this is what we call kulet ketubah, and this is all because these laws are laws instated placed by the sages, and therefore they are also the same sages that put them in place in certain situations could not put them in place in other situations. And another thing in the ketubah that is less hamur than in regular cases, that the woman takes the money of her ketubah from the least good currency. Now this is in a case in which in the ketubah there is no currency specifically mentioned. So for example, somebody married a woman in the US, and in the US and he did not specify the currency. He said in the ketubah 200, I will give her 200 if I divorce her. And now they moved to Israel. So, for example, somebody moved to the U.S. and now they moved to Israel, and in the U.S. there was no designated currency on the ketubah, so they wrote, let's say, 200 on the ketubah, and now they moved to Israel, and they divorced in Israel. Now there's 200 in the ketubah, so they did 200 U.S. dollars or 200 shekels, new Israeli shekels. They would give 200 new Israeli shekels unless a currency was specifically specified within the ketubah, and this is what we'll see in the next halakha. אבל אם פירש במטבע ידוע בין בעיקר בין בתוספת הרי היא כדין המלווה את חברו במטבע ידוע שנותן לו כמה שלווה וכמו שהתבהר בהלכות הלוואה. However, if a specific currency was mentioned in the ketubah, then the husband will have to pay the wife from the specific currency upon divorce, and not just from the generalized amount of money that was mentioned in the currency of whatever place they're in. הלכה זין, תקנו הגאונים בכל הישיבות. So the Geonim are the sages that came after the Emoraim, after the closing of the Talmud. There was a short amount of time called the time of the Sevoraim. I'm skipping that was only 2 generations. The main block of about 400 to 500 years after the Talmud, there was the time that we call the time of the Geonim. Now, the Geonim had different centers of Torah, different yeshivot, and sometimes the yeshivot would disagree. So in this specific case, we have something, a takana of the Geonim made, then in all the yeshivot they agreed on this takana. So תקנו הגאונים בכל הישיבות שתהיה אישה כאובה כתובתה אחת מיתת בעלה אף מן המטלטלין. The Geonim made a special takana that the woman may take the money of her ketubah that the husband owes her for the ketubah after the husband dies, also from movable property. Now we said in halakha he that Hachamim said that the woman, a widow, takes only from real estate. However, the Geonim made a decree that no, she may also take from movable property. The same way, a regular person that owes another person money, the person who is owed money to, may take from the person who owes him money, from real estate as well as movable property. So this is something. So now, really, there's a question: how could the Yeshiva of the Geonim, which is smaller or less great than the yeshiva of the Gemara or of the Tanaim, make a decree against the yeshiva of the Tanaim or the Gemara? How could they do such a thing? So the answer is, they did not make a takana against, okay? but rather they simply what we call the takana they made was to put the status of a ketubah like the status of when person A owes person B money. Now, this is a subject which needs a lot more time to explain. I just gave a small explanation. This explanation isn't too clear, but whoever understands it will understand it. And I recommend that anybody who wants to understand this in depth, look at the different perushim. The perush that I highly recommend is the perush of Rabbi Rabinowitz of Ma'alei Adumim, Perush Yad Peshuta. It's explained nicely there. And this takana made by the Geonim spread out in all of Israel. Also, all the conditions mentioned in the ketubah, all the conditions, let's say the husband, we write in a different monetary condition that the husband will have to fulfill in certain case A, B, or C, they're also like the base ketubah. We said the base ketubah is the minimum the Chachamim specified plus the addition that the husband promised. So it's also plus whatever extra conditions were added in the ketubah. And also they may be paid. They are the responsibilities are on movable property as well as real estate. Except something which is called minhag benin dichrin. In short, minhag benin dichrin is when the husband takes responsibility on paying for the food or the monetary needs of the children, the male children of the wife. In this case, because of whatever reason which I cannot get into, there was a mahloket in the yeshivot of the Geonim, and therefore לפיכך אני אומר מעמידין אותה על דין התלמוד שאין יורשים כתובת אימן אלא מן הקרקע. That in the case of ketubot banin dichrin, as I explained before, we go by what it says in the Talmud. In the Talmud it says that the wife could only take the money for this specific condition of ketubot banin dichrin from real estate and not from movable property. הלכה ח' כיוון אנחנו בכל המקומות שידענו וששמענו שמעם שיכתבו בכתובה בין מקרקעי בין מטלטלי. So it was decreed already in all the places in which in Harambam's time that Harambam knew about that they write in the ketubah, in the place in the ketubah in which we specify where the money for the ketubah could be paid from, that it could be paid from real estate as well as movable property, and this is mentioned inside the ketubah itself so that we don't need to in other words, in a clear fashion, and we'll see what happens if it isn't written in a clear fashion, where the money of the ketubah could be paid from to the wife, and we'll see that in the next halakha. And this is a big tikkun, this is a very good thing to do on the ketubah, and Harambam says that smart people are those who made this tikkun, made this minhag, because this is what we call tenai shebemono. Tenai shebemono is any condition, any monetary condition in a contract. It is important if you specify in it. The ketubah is like any other monetary condition, any monetary contract, and therefore, when you specify in it where the money could be taken from to pay for this monetary contract, it falls under the laws of tenai of what hilchot mamon, hilchot kinyan. Harambam's, we have monetary laws, and therefore the ketubah goes to the status of a monetary law in this case, and we don't need to make it unclear where the husband pays the wife from, because it's just like any other monetary deal. And also we see that according to this, the wife may take the money for the ketubah, okay, from movable property, and not b'takanat haronim. What does that mean, not b'takanat haronim? When the Geonim made a takana that the wife could take the money, a widow could take the money from the ketubah that her husband owes her from movable property, we meant that this is in the case where it is not specified in the ketubah where the wife may take the money from. However, when you specify where the wife may take the money from in the case in which her husband would die, then it's not takanat haronim. This doesn't fall under the case of what the Geonim were talking about. Rather, it goes back to Talmudic law, in which Talmudic law says that any monetary contract which is specified in the contract where the money that one owes to another comes from and is paid to, then this is already Talmudic law, and this doesn't go under that funny situation of the Geonim, which is an interesting law in itself, which has to be understood more in depth than the following class allows. Now we have a case in which it was not mentioned inside the ketubah specifically where the wife may take the money of the ketubah from mekitaltelin, from karka, from real estate, or from movable property. If at the time of the writing of the ketubah, the husband knew about this takana of the geonim, that she may take also, if she becomes a widow, she may take also from movable property, then she may take from the movable property, because the husband knew about this at the time of the making of the ketubah, and it was not specifically mentioned in the ketubah what place the money could be taken out to pay for her, so therefore the takana the geonim works in this case. However, ואם לאו, או שנסתפק לנו הדבר, מתיישבים בדבר זה הרבה, שאין כוח בתקנת הגאונים לדון בה, אף על פי שלא נתפרשה כדין תנאי כתובה, שאין תקנת הסנהדרין גדולה, שהן תקנת הסנהדרין גדולה, עד שנוסיף בה ממון מן היורשים. And if we do not know if the husband knew, or if we know that the husband did not know about the תקנת גאונים, then מתיישבים בדבר זה הרבה, we have to do some more hakirot. The Bedin has to go more into depth, given with a specific situation in a private manner for each situation. Evaluate how the situation is, whether or not we could use the takanah of the geonim or not, whether or not the wife could take from the movable property, or she must only take from real estate if she became a widow. Halacha yod. The following halachot the following couple of halachot, like 7 or 8 halachot, deal with what we call shi'abud nichsei ba'al, shi'abud nichsei ba'al. When the property of the husband is made as a, so to speak, made responsible to pay the woman from, and how we do this. So, not all properties that the husband owns, we may take the ketubah from, the money of the ketubah from, or maybe yes, maybe no, we'll see in the following halachot. halachayot. ועוד תקנו חכמים שיהיו כל נכסי הבעל החראים והערבאים לכתובה. אפילו כתובת המנה ויש לו קרקע ב2,000 זהובים, הכל תחת שעבוד הכתובה. Any property that the husband owns, the woman may take the money of the ketubah from that property. Even if the husband has millions of dollars worth of property and his ketubah is only $1,000 to the wife, she may take from whatever property, and it is all under the Bedin's ability to take from that property. What is the difference? What does it mean? What does this mean? If the husband has, let's say, $1 million worth of property, and according to the ketubah contract, he has to pay the wife only $1,000. The Bedin may decide where to take the $1,000 from, whether from his hotels, houses, real estate, movable property, whatever they want to, because all of the property is under the for the ketubah. הכל תחת שעבוד הכתובה. בכל שימכור אחד הנישואין מנכסיו, אף על פי שממכרו קיים, יש לו למכור כל נכסיו ומרסה, יש לה לטרוף אותן בכתובתה, כשיגרשנו או כשימות, אם לא תמצא נכסים בני חורין. Also, if the husband sold his property, which he may do, the wife still may, after the husband divorces her or dies, may take the money of the property from the person who bought the property from the husband, in a case in which the husband doesn't have any other property to pay her from. In other words, the husband didn't leave any property to pay the wife from. He sold everything before he died, and now the wife needs to receive $1,000, let's say, for a ketubah, for example. So she may take this $1,000 from one of the people that bought property from the husband, and this is done by the Bedin. וכשתטרוף, לא תטרוף אלא בשבועה בנקיטת חפץ כדין כל בעלי חובות ותקנה זו כדי שלא תהיה כתובתה קלה בעיניו. And also when she takes this money, she does it by making a שבועה that just like anybody else who owes somebody else money and takes it from the property of somebody that bought the property from the person who's paid, like in this type of case. ותקנה זו כדי שלא תהיה כתובתה קלה בעיניו, and this תקנה was made by חכמים, so the ketubah is not like light in his eyes, but rather he takes it seriously and understands that this is a very serious business. הלכה יוד א', כשמשביעין בית דין או היורשים את האלמנה כשתבוא לגבות כתובתיים, משביעין אותה אל החוץ לבית דין מפני שבתי דין היו נמנעים מלהשפיע שחוששים לה שמא לא תדקדק על עצמה בשבועה. When the wife makes a שבועה to receive the money of her ketubah, in whichever case she needs to make a שבועה, she doesn't do it inside the walls of the bedin, but she does it outside the bedin, because we don't want it to be bizayon bedin, a disrespect to the bedin itself, if the wife does not make the shivu'ah properly, because the case of a shivu'ah is something that the wife may, there's more potential, the case of a shivu'ah for ketubah is a case in which there's more potential for the wife to make a shivu'ah check it either on purpose or not. Therefore, we don't want to take that chance by making the shivu'ah in the bedin, but rather we do it outside the bedin. ואם נשוא היתומים להדירה הנודרת להם כל מה שירצו מדירין אותה בבדין ואחר כך נוטלת את כתובתה. I must say this halakha wasn't so clear to me when I read it. I'm going to explain what I think it means, and if anybody has any other perush, any other explanation to it, I'd love to hear and be explained what this halakha means. If there's a type of case here in which somehow the wife can make a neder instead of a shivu'ah, when nedarim are a little bit less serious of a transgression than a shivu'ah, and in this type of neder, which I'm not exactly sure how it's done, she may do it within the walls of the betin and not outside the betin. And if anybody has a deeper explanation, a more clear explanation, please feel free to share it. הלכה י"ב מתה האלמנה קודם שתשבע אין יורשים מכתובתה כלום שאין לה כתובה שתשבע. If the widow died before she made the shibu'ah, before she swore that she needs to receive whatever property she needs to receive, then her inheritors do not inherit from her anything, because there's no inheritance until she makes the shibu'ah. ואם נישאת קודם שתשבע הרי זו נשבעת אחר הנישואין ונוטלת כל זמן שתרצה, אבל אינה נודרת ונוטלת שמא יפר הבעל. However, after divorce, if she gets married after divorce or death of the husband, then she may make a shivu'ah. She still may make a shivu'ah in order to receive the money, even after she got but she's not allowed to make a neder to take her the money of the ketubah, because in the case of a neder, her new husband could do what's called hafarad nedarim, just by saying he cancels her neder. If the husband doesn't want her to make nedarim, etc. This is all in the beginning of the parashat patot. So she doesn't make a neder because that's something that her new husband could cancel, but rather shivu'ah he cannot cancel, and therefore she does it. הלכה י"ג יחד לה קרקע בכתובתה. יחד לה קרקע בכתובתה. בין שיחדها בארבעת המסרים בין במסר אחד גובה כתובתה ממנו בלא שבועה. If the husband designated a certain land to pay the wife's ketubah from, whether this land was 100% designated or only one side of the land from one direction, there was a specification, she may take her ketubah from there without making a shibu'ah in the case of the husband dying. וכן אם כתב לها מטלטלים ואין עצמן קיימים נוטלת אותם בלא שבועה, וכן אם נמכרו ונלקח בהן מטלטלים אחרים ונודע שאלו השניים מדמי המטלטלים הראשונים נוטלת בלא שבועה. Also, if the husband specifically designated movable property to pay the wife from the ketubah of the wife from, or even if those movable properties were sold and specific other movable property was bought in those movable properties place, then the wife may take them without making a shibu'ah because they were designated in advance by the husband. הלכה י"ד הפוגם את כתובתה לא תפרה אלא בשבועה. A woman who does what's called pegimat ketubah, and we'll see in a little bit what a pegimat ketubah is, she does not get the money of the ketubah unless she makes a shibu'ah. כסד עושה שטר כתובה שיש בו 1,000 זוז, הבעל אומרת תקבל לה הכל, והיא אומרת לא נתקבלתי אלא כך וכך, ואפילו יש עליה עדים במקצת שנטלה, אפילו דקדקה בחשבון מה שנטלה וחסי פירוטה לא תיטול השאר אלא בשבועה. In a case in which there's a disagreement between the husband and wife in the bedin, the husband says he gave the wife money, and the wife says no, I didn't get her, I got half of the ketubah. And such cases, I'm not going to get into the little details of the salakha, then she still has to make a shivu'ah because there's an idiosyncrasy between there's a lack of because the husband and wife are not in sync on the matter, so therefore the wife makes the shivu'ah and not the husband, because the wife is the one receiving the money and not the husband. הלכה ט"ו אמר באה נתקבל הכל והיא אומרת לא נתקבלתי כלום. וידחל מידע עליה שנתקבל הכל למקצת לא תפרע אלא בשבועה. The husband says that he paid all the money of the wife, and the wife says that she didn't receive any money. In a case in which the wife says she received some money, that's called modeh b'miksat ta'ana, and she makes a shivu'ah and she may go. But in the case where she says she didn't receive anything, she normally wouldn't have to make a shivu'ah bin kitat hafez. She would make the bedin would have to decide, or she would do shivu'at hiset. Shivu'at hiset is a shivu'ah which she can move to the other person also. She's not the only one who has to make the shivu'ah. She can say, you make the shivu'ah also to the husband. Make the shivu'ah that you paid me, and I'll make the shivu'ah that you didn't pay me. Okay? But we have a case here in which we have one witness saying that he saw the wife getting part of it or all of the money. Even though it's one witness, usually we don't use one witness. Here, because we have one witness, she has to make a shivu'ah, a regular shivu'ah, not shivu'at hesed. Okay? Halakha tetzayin. הנפרעת שלו בפניו לא תפרע אלא בשבועה. A wife who goes to the beit din to receive the money of the ketubah not in front of the husband, she may do this only by making a shivu'ah. כיצד? הרי שגירש את אשתו והלך לו בית דין יורדין לנכסיו אחר שתישבע ומרבין אותה כתובתה. An example, for example, the husband left, divorced the wife and then went to a different country or disappeared. We don't know where he went. So the beit din, after the wife swears that he owes her the money of the ketubah, the relevant shivu'ah, so the beit din gives the wife the money from the husband's properties. And this is only in the case in which the husband is in a far place, which it would be very, very arduous task to tell him about the ketubah. However, if he disappeared. However, if the husband isn't so far away, for example, in another city or something like that, then they do go and tell him, and she does not, and if he doesn't come, she does not need to she makes a shivu'ah nevertheless. הלכה י"ז הפוחתת כתובתה נפרעת שלו בשבועה. A woman who does what's called pihitat ketubah, where she says that the husband owes her less than is written on the ketubah, then she may receive the money of the ketubah without making a shivu'ah. כסה תוסיח שטר כתובה ב1,000 זוז, הוא אומר תתקבל הכל, והיא אומר לא נתקעות כלום ואין לי אלא 500 זוז, וזה שכתב לי 1,000 אמנה שהייתה ביני לבינו, הרי זו נפרעת שלו בשבועה. The husband says he paid her the money. He paid her everything. And she says, no, I didn't get anything. And the amount of money written on the ketubah was, he owes me 500. And the amount of money written on the ketubah, let's say 1,000, was an unwritten contract between me and him, in the time of divorce, and he only has to pay me 500. So in this case, she does not need to make a shivu'ah because she's מודע במקצת הטענה. אבל אם המראין בשטר כתובתי אלא 500, אינה נפרעת בשטר זה שיש בו 1,000 כאילו משערי ביטלה אותו, וכאילו הודעת שהוא שקל, לפיכך נשבע שבועת הסת ונפטר. But, however, if the wife doesn't say that, no, what it says on the ketubah is valid, the 1,000 it says on the ketubah had some validity, she says the validity of the 1,000 is complete. The 1,000 that is mentioned on the ketubah is completely invalid. In this case, she does what is called shivu'at esed, because she doesn't agree at all that the ketubah is right. She says the whole ketubah is sheker, even though she says the husband would owe her whatever money. She doesn't agree with what it says on the ketubah, and therefore she does what's called shivu'at esed, a shivu'ah which either her or the husband make, and the issue is closed. הלכה י"ח כל מקום שאמרנו לא תיפרע אלא בשבועה אומרים לה בית דין השבעי ותלי, ומקום שנאמר תיפרע שלא בשבועה אומרים לבעל עמוד ותלה, ואין אתה נאמר בטענה זו עד שתביא ראיה לדבריך. So, in a place, the following halachot are going to deal with the actual payment of the ketubah from the husband to the wife in a case of divorce. So in any place, or in case of the widowing of the wife, in any case in which we said that the wife has to make a shivu'ah in order to receive the money of the ketubah, then the beit din tells her, make the shivu'ah and take the money. And in a case in which we said that she does not need to make a shivu'ah, in this case they tell the husband, please give the money that you owe to the wife, and you have no ta'ana, no case against not giving the money. أمر بعض معصمه تشابع عليها بتعنتي أمرين لها تشابعي وتلي وتشابع من كتة حيفة. If the husband tells the wife that the husband says, you know what, I want the wife to swear, then we make her swear bin kitat haifes with the Sefer Torah. Halacha, continuation of halacha yotet titna عمها שתרבה כתובתها בלא שבועה, או שהיא נאמנת בכל מה שתטעון, גובה ממנו בלא שבועה כלה לבעל, אם באת לפרעה מיורשיו, תשבע ואחר כך תיטול. If there was a conditioning in the ketubah that the husband and wife, that she could take the ketubah without making a shebu'ah, or that she was what we call ne'emenet, which means that for whatever reason she was that we trust her in everything she says, then she may take the money of the ketubah without making a shibu'ah at all. However, If she wants to take the money from the inheritors of the husband, in the case in which the husband died and she became a widow, then she nevertheless has to make a shibu'ah until and then take the money. הלכה כ' התנא עמها שתהיה נוטלת מיורשיו ולא שבועה, או שתהיה נאמנת על יורשיו ולזו נוטלת מהן ולא שבועה. If she made a conditioning in a ketubah that she could take also from the inheritors of the husband without making a shibu'ah, she may do so. אבל אם באה לטרוף מנכסים משועבדים, לא תטרוף אלא בשבועה. However, if she wants to take the money of the ketubah from land that was sold from her husband to somebody else, as we explained, it's mutar to do so, she's not allowed to do that unless she makes a shibu'ah. And even though the husband and her had a certain trust, and I do not know exactly what this trust means, I'm assuming based on this halakha that we're talking about a specific, some sort of something which we will probably talk about a little bit later. In the ketubah itself, the husband signed that he trusts the wife in whatever ta'ana, in whatever case she brings, in whatever she says, and then she does not have to make the shibu'ah. Because the tenai, this condition that we said, this type of condition could help, could be used to take money from the husband and from his family. However, to take money from other people, this condition is not valid. In other words, the limit of this condition is the husband and his family. More than that, no. הלכה כ"א אלמנה שהיה שטר כתובתה יוצא מתחת ידיה נשבעת בגובה כתובתה לעולם אפילו לאחר 100 שנה בין שהייתה בבית בעלה בין שהייתה בבית אביה. A widow which has a signed ketubah in her hands, in other words a valid ketubah, and she wants to take the money from the husband's inheritors, then she goes to the Bet Din, she makes a swear that in fact this is a real ketubah, and then she takes her ketubah, she takes the money of the ketubah. Even if a lot of time passed, even after 100 years, whether she was in the house of her husband or out of the house of her husband does not matter. As long as she has the ketubah and she makes the shibu'ah, she may take the money of the ketubah. ואם אין שטר ketubah יוצא מתחת ידיה אין לה כלום ואפילו עקר ketubah ואפילו טבעה ביום מיתת בעלها וכן הגירושה אפילו עקר ketubah אין לה עד שתוציא שטר ketubah. However, if she does not have a valid written ketubah in her hands, she cannot do anything, she cannot get the money, even if she goes to take the money on the death date of her husband. He died, here, look, he's dead, he's here, he hasn't even been buried. She doesn't have a ketubah, she does not get the money, because we have a hashash, there's a possibility that maybe she sold the ketubah to somebody else and then somebody else is expecting to get the money, she made a deal, etc. We do not know, and therefore she is not allowed, because there is no certificate of marriage, there's no certificate of ketubah, there's no certificate of money that the husband owes the wife, therefore she cannot do that. And the case is such also with a divorcee. A divorced woman must show the certificate of the ketubah in order to receive the money of the ketubah, otherwise she does not receive the money of the ketubah at all, ever. In what cases are these words? In a place which it is customary to write a ketubah, to write a certificate of ketubah. אבל במקום שאין דרכן לכתוב כתובה אלא סומכים על תנאי בית דין, הרי זו גובה עיקר כתובה אף על פי שאין בידה שטר כתובה, בין התגרשה בין התאלמנה, בין הייתה בבית בעלה, בין הייתה בבית אביה, אבל תוספת אין לה בכל מקום אלא בראיה ברורה. However, in a place in which it was not customary to write a ketubah, and the money of the ketubah is held, the Beit Din has a conditioning that makes that makes the minimum amount of money of the ketubah that the husband would have to pay. They make the husband pay it, and they do not make a ketubah needed. They do not make a ketubah. It's not customary to have a ketubah in that specific place. Then they take the ikar ketubah, in other words, the minimum money of the ketubah. Even doesn't matter what condition she's in. However, the added money in the ketubah, like the husband, there's a minimum amount of money. Let's say it's $100 that the husband has to pay, and then there's money that the husband would add for courtesy, etc., 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 for whatever reasons. And this added money, which we call the tosefet ketubah, the wife may not take if she has no written certificate of ketubah. הלכה כ"ג ועד כמה תרבה האלמנה העיקר במקום שאין כותבים כתובה, and how much is the עיקר הכתובה which the widow takes in a case in which she does not have a written certificate of ketubah. If she was still, and ad kama, sorry, means not how much, but till when. So if she was still in the house of her husband, in other words, she was still living in the house of her husband, then she may always, as long as she's living in the house of her husband, she may take the money of the ketubah by going to the bedin. However, if she was in the house of she went back to the house of her father after she was widowed, then she has 25 years to receive the money from the bedin, to go take the money. However, after 25 years, she has no ta'ana, she has no bearing on this money. Because we don't say, oh look, she was embarrassed and therefore she we don't say that, that she waited so long that she still wants to receive the money. Obviously she gave it up, and we can't say, oh no, maybe she was embarrassed from the inheritors and that's why she didn't want to take the money from them. No, that's only in a case in which she lives in the same house with the inheritors, in other words, still in the house of her husband. In a case which she doesn't, then we don't say this thing, and therefore, at 25 years passed, when she was out of the house of her husband, she loses the money of the ketubah. הלכה כ"ד, לפיכך, אם היה היורש עצמו מוליך לה מזונותיה לבית אביה ומטפל בה, יש לה לתבוע כתובתה, אפילו אחר 15 שנה מפני שזה ששתקה ולא תבעה מפני שהיא בושה מן היורש. However, if, in a case which the inheritors took care of the wife's monetary needs in regard to food, in other words, they paid her food and her whatever certain things that they would pay, the inheritors would see her every day, then we could still say, oh, maybe she was embarrassed from the inheritors and therefore did not want to take the money from the ketubah. But now, let's say the inheritors aren't, but now 25 years passed, more than 25 years passed, she was still embarrassed from the inheritors. Now she mustered up some power and decided, courage, and decided she is going to ask for the money. And therefore it is mutar, even if she was still only living in her father's house, as long as she had some sort of regular basis correspondence with the inheritors of her husband. Halakha kafhe. היא אומרת בתולה נסתי ועיקר כתובתי 200 והבעל או היורשים אומרים בעולה נסת ואין לה אלא a case in which the wife says that she was married, that she was never had relations with anybody before getting married, and therefore her ikar ketubah should be 200, and the husband or the inheritor say no, she was married to me after she already previously had relations with someone else, and the ikar ketubah is only 100. אם יש עדים שראו שעשו לה מנהגות שנהגו אנשי אותה העיר לעשותן לבתולה, כגון מן השמחה ומלבוש ידוע או כתרים או שאר דברים שאין עושים כן אלא לבתולה, הרי זה נוטל ל-200. If we have witnesses that see that upon the marriage of this couple, they did the certain customs that were done only to a non-previously married or non-previously, a woman that hasn't been previously in relations, had relations with a man, if we see the customs that were done for betula, then this witnessing is sufficient to make the husband have to give the wife 200 and not 100. However, but if she does not have witnesses on this, then she takes 100. And if the husband was still alive, then the wife may ask him to make a shivu'ah on his ta'ana, on his make a shivu'ah on what he says, and because he is what we call model ta'ana, he admits to a certain extent that he owes the wife money. He just doesn't agree with the amount of money that he owes her. Because he admits something and doesn't completely say he doesn't know anything, he has to make a shivu'ah. He may make a shivu'ah, the wife may ask him to make a shivu'ah in order to so that he really pays her 100 and not 200. And somebody who was a child at the time of the marriage, of the wedding, is a sufficient enough witness to say that he saw that the customs of a betula were done on this woman when she got married, thus holding her allowed to receive 200 from her husband and not 100. And all these things are in a case in which there is no certificate of ketubah written. However, if there's a ketubah written, then the ketubah itself is a witnessing of whether she was betula or not, and all those other little problems. Okay. הלכה כ"ו. האישה שאמרה לבעלה הגירשתני נאמנת, שאינה מעיזה פניה בפני בעלה. A woman who says to her husband that he So let me just give a quick introduction to the next three halachot. These three halachot are very interesting, and they have to do with a woman that claims that she's been divorced by her husband. Yet, she does not have a certificate of divorce. She does not have what we call a get. This is a very interesting halacha, very interesting dinim, and we will see them right now. So, ha'isha she'amira leba'alaha girashtani. A woman that says to her husband's face, you divorced me, you gave me a certificate of divorce, a get. We trust her because it is not customary. Most women would not be so audacious or have so much audacity to say such a thing to their husband's face. Therefore, האישה שהוציאה שטר כתובה ואין עמה הגט ואמרה לבעלה גירשתני בעבוד גיתי תן לי כתובתי והוא אומר לא גירשתי חייב ליתן עקר כתובה. Therefore, a woman who showed a certificate of ketubah, a certificate of marriage, but she did not have a get, she did not have a certificate of divorce, and she said to her husband's face, you divorced me, yet I lost the certificate of divorce, please give me the money that you owe me for the ketubah. And the husband says, no, I did not divorce you. He still has to give her the akar ketubah, the minimum amount of money in the ketubah without the tosefet, because she's me'izah paneh, she's doing something highly audacious, which she wouldn't do unless it had some truth behind it. However, to receive the tosefet ketubah, the extra money of the ketubah, she must have a certificate of divorce. Otherwise, we don't trust her for that. Halakha kaf zayin. Amar laha ba'al ken haya גירשתי ונפלתי כל הכתובה עקר ותוספת וכתבת לי שובר ועבד שוברי מתוך שיכול לומר לא גירשתי ולא התחייב בתוספת, הרי זה נאמן ומשביעה בנקיטת חפץ ונותן לה העיקר ונשבע הוא שבועת הסד על התוספת. Now, we have another case here in which the husband says, yes, it was such that I divorced you. However, I gave you all the money of the ketubah, and I gave you the akar of the ketubah, and I gave you the tosefet of the ketubah. In other words, I gave you the akar and tosefet of the ketubah, all the money. And I wrote to you wrote to me, a certificate of receiving the money. And my certificate, my receipt was lost. We trust him. Why? Because the husband, it would have been much easier for him to just say, I did not divorce. And then he would have been hands-free, wouldn't have had to do anything. But because he said, he went to this length of saying that he had the certificate and the receipt, and the receipt was lost, we trust him. The husband could have said, I'm just going to take a step back. The husband could have said, I did not divorce this woman at all. And then he would have to pay a akar ketubah, but he wouldn't have to pay the whole tosefet. And then he would get out of this. So, because he could have just said, I didn't divorce her at all, and then he wouldn't have had to give her the tosefet anyway, we trust this whole story that he gave her everything, and he makes a shevuah, she said makes a shevuah, and it said bin kitat hefes, and he gives her the akar ketubah nevertheless, even though he says he gave her the akar ketubah, he still gives her the akar ketubah again, and she makes a shevuat heset on the additional money of the shevuah. She makes what we call a shevuat heset, that all the things he said were a lie. She swears on the shevuat heset that all the things he said were a lie, and it's done. The shevuat heset is a shevuah that she could push over to him as well. In other words, she says, oh, you know what? You want to make me swear? Have him swear instead. Okay? Halakha kaf het. Hotzia get. Now we have a situation in which the woman has a certificate of divorce, but she lost her certificate of marriage. If the custom of the place in which they live is that we don't have written ketubot, then the woman may vis-a-vis the certificate of divorce receive the money for the ketubah, for the akar ketubah. אפילו עקר אין לה עד שתוציא שטר כתובה כמו שבארנו ונשבע הבעל שבועת הסת על טענתה ונפטר. However, if she lives in a place in which it is customary to write a certificate of marriage, a ketubah, even the akar ketubah she doesn't receive until she shows a certificate of ketubah, as we said in Hilchot Kaf Aleph Kaf Bet, and the husband must make a shivu'ah that she is lying, and then he does not have to pay. However, if he does not make the shivu'ah, and she makes the shivu'ah that he is lying, and he doesn't want to make a shivu'ah that he's not lying, or that she's lying, then he would have to pay עיקר הכתובה. הלכה כ"ט, הוציאה שני גטין ושתי כתובות, גובה שתי כתובות, הוציאה שתי כתובות וגט אחד, אינה גובה אלא כתובה אחת. If a woman shows 2 certificates of marriage as well as 2 certificates of divorce, in other words, we see here that she got married, got divorced from the same husband, or then she gets the amount of money of 2 ketubot. However, if she shows 2 ketubot but only 1 certificate of divorce, she only gets 1 ketubah worth of money. ואיזו מהן גובה? אם שתיהן שוות בטלה אחרונה את הראשונה ואינה טורפת אלא מזמן האחרונה. ואם היה באחד משתיהן תוספת על חברתה הגובה, באיזו מהן שתוספת תבטל השנייה. Which ketubah in the case which she has 1 certificate of divorce and 2 certificates of marriage, which ketubah does she ask the money from? If the both ketubot are worth the same amount of money, then she takes one of them and the other one is she doesn't take. However, if one of them is worth more than the other, then she decides from whichever one of them that she wants to take, and she takes, and the other one is worthless. הלכה למד, הוציאה שני גטין וכתובה אחת, אין לה אלא כתובה אחת, שהמגרשת אשתו וחזירה סתם, על כתובתה הראשונה חזירה. A woman that has 2 certificates of divorce and 1 certificate of marriage, she could say, oh look, this certificate of marriage we used it twice, and he owes me double the amount of money of the certificate of marriage. We don't say that. No, she has 2 certificates of divorce, no problem. But because she only has 1 certificate of marriage, the husband has to pay her the amount of money for 1 certificate of marriage. הוציאה גט וכתובה אחת מצד בעלها. אם גט קודם לכתובה, גובה בגט זה עיקר כתובה. So, now we have a case in which a woman has a get and a ketubah after the death of her husband. And she shows it to the Bedin. If the get was preceding to the ketubah, in other words, the certificate of divorce, the date on it, was before the date of the certificate of marriage, then she may take with that certificate of divorce money of akar ketubah. Because it shows that she was divorced and then married again, right? Because the date on the certificate of marriage is after the certificate of divorce. So we have a case in which she was married, obviously, because, as we see in the certificate of divorce. And then when she got married again, now she got married again, and she doesn't have a certificate of divorce because the husband died. So she gets, with this certificate of divorce, she gets what we call akara ketubah. If this is a place in which it's customary not to write a ketubah, then she gets a ketubah with this certificate of divorce. And the second, the ketubah that has a date after the certificate of divorce, she gets all the money out of this ketubah. Why? Because we see that the certificate of divorce was written before the ketubah, and the ketubah was another marriage, a non-connected marriage to this previous marriage, and she gets all the money of that ketubah that's written on the ketubah, whether it's 1,000, 10,000, doesn't matter what the amount of money is. She gets akar ketubah and tosefet ketubah. ואם כתובה קדמה את הגט, אין לה אלא כתובה אחת, שהכתובה הראשונה חזירה. However, if the ketubah was preceding to the get, she only has 1 ketubah. Because if the ketubah was preceding to the get, and there was a get, and we have a ketubah with a date before the get, so what happens is, it means that this ketubah was an original marriage, and then she got divorced, and then she got remarried, but she doesn't have the ketubah for the second marriage. So she only receives 1 ikar ketubah for that second marriage, only in a case in which the place in which she lives is a place where they don't write ketubot. It could be that she moved to another place and then she remarried the same husband in a different place in which it is not customary to write ketubot, and now she has a previous ketubot from the previous marriage, which she did in a place where it was customary to write ketubot, in the get, where it was customary to write, where she got divorced, etc. Halakha lamed alef. Ha'isha, now we have a case in which a wife, although we say, according to the Torah, al pi shenayim o shelosha adim yumat hamet, we have a law that 2 or 3 witnesses are the minimum to consider something true, to consider a fact true in court, in the context of a court of law. Nevertheless, in the case in which there are certain cases in which the wife could be a witness that her husband died. She could say to the Beddin, my husband died, I saw him die, and the Beddin believes the wife. Even though A, women are pesulot la'adut, they're not allowed to witness in Beddin, and B, she's one witness. And C, Adam Karov said Asmo. Usually a person, when they witness on themselves, we don't allow them to witness on themselves. We have three factors here which would, in any normal case, make the woman not allowed, make a person not allowed to be witnessed. But when it's a case of the death of a husband, there's a special allowance of the wife to witness that her husband died. Why? And we'll see, there's a special situation. Why? How come? Because if nobody saw the husband die, and the wife saw the husband die, and now we don't let her get remarried, she saw the husband die, this is like, this is too, meaning this is the type of thing that the Hachamim didn't go to such lengths to be mahmir on the woman. If the woman says that she saw the husband die, and nobody else knows where he is, and nobody sees him, etc., and the conditions are all met, that we will see the conditions in the following halachot, then we believe her. We'll see here. האישה נאמנת לומר מת בעלי כדי שתנסה כמו שהתבאר בהלכות גירושין. In Hilchot Gerushin, we will see more on this. A woman may say, my husband has died. My husband has died, so that she can marry another person. Why? What is the reason? So in Hilchot Gerushin פרק י"ב הלכה ט"ו, it says, חזקה שאינה מקלקלת עצמה, ותאסור עצמה על זה ועל זה, ותפסיד כתובתה מזה ומזה, ותוציא בניה ממזרים בדברי עשוי להגלות לכל. ואי אפשר להכחיש שלא לטעון טענה שאם הוא חי סופו לבוא ואם יוודע או יוודע שהוא חי. A wife wouldn't lie that her husband died to marry somebody else, because if the husband is alive, this is a lie which is very easily could come out and be seen to everyone. And now this wife will have a situation which her children from the second husband are all mamzerim, and she does not receive the money of the ketubah from either one of the husbands. And of course, Shemra, everybody sees what she did. It's not something which stays secret. It's something which is not bound to stay secret. It's something which is easily could be shown to everyone if the live husband ends up coming and saying, "Hey, I'm alive. This is my wife. Why is she married to somebody else?" And because of that, we trust the wife on this specific deen. ومتناهي الكتبة شيء تنسى لأحد عن موتو تطول ما شكتب لها بخطبتها. And one of the conditions of the ketubah is that if she marries somebody else after her husband died, she still may receive the amount of money written in the ketubah, even though she married somebody else, even though she didn't take the money before she got married. לפיכך אם בת לבית דין ואמרה מת בעלי התירוני לנשא ולא הזכירה שם כתובה בעולם מתירין אותה להינשא משביעין אותה ונותנים לה כתובתה. And therefore if a woman goes to the beit din and says, my husband died, please allow me to get married, then they allow her to get married, and then they make a shevu'ah, and she may receive her ketubah even after she gets married. הלכה למד א' באה ואמירה מת בעלי תנו לי כתובתי אף להינשא מתירין אותה שעל עסקי הכתובה באה ועל זה בחזקת שלא מת ואין דעתה להינשא אלא ליטול כתובה מחיים בלבד. However, if the woman comes and says my husband died, she comes to the beit din and she says my husband died, please give me the money of the ketubah. We don't trust her and don't listen to her, even if she says afterwards I want to marry somebody else. Why? Because she came, her initial words to the beit din, her initial request from the beit din was to receive money. And receiving money, the receipt of money from the beit din could be something that may never come out to light. She could leave, run away. Nobody will ever know that she took the money of the husband's ketubah. Even if the husband comes suddenly, he's alive. She could say, look, this is something that we don't let her do. And therefore, even if she wants to remarry, she says, hey, please, my husband died, let me remarry. After she originally requested, if her initial request was for the money, we don't trust her. Continuation of the halakha. So far we've been in halakha lamed aleph for the past a couple of minutes. However, if the woman her initial request was to remarry, and on the side after that initial request she said, also please give me the money for my ketubah, here we let her, because the deceit is less possible and less obvious if there was some type of deceit, because also she's coming on something, she wants to remarry somebody. We see here that she has no problem in remarrying, which shows that she is most likely not lying. However, if she comes and says at the same time, give me my ketubah and let me get remarried, we let her get remarried, but we don't give her a ketubah. How come? Because although initially she asked for the ketubah, and we said that, and if she goes and asks for the ketubah alone, we don't let her remarry, it's a different case. She asked for them at the same time, so we let her remarry, because remarriage is something which she would be embarrassed to do if her husband was still alive, because he could come and show, hey, I'm married. They could catch her. However, we don't give her the money for the ketubah because we're still a little bit weary on her ta'ana. We say maybe she really isn't remarried. We don't know this. So maybe she really, the husband didn't die, and she came initially for the money. Therefore, we don't give her the money. However, if she took the money on her own accord, in other words, she grabbed the money from the husband's property or real estate, then the bedin does not take it away from her because they did let her get remarried, and this is just a gezerah on top of that gezerah. And with this we finish chapter 16 of Hilchot Ishut. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen.